Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I am back with just I guess I'm not back on the poem. I'm here. I'm here and I wanted to talk about sexual assault survivors. So I feel like a lot of times we are conditioned to suffer in silence. We are conditioned to believe no one will believe us. We are conditioned to believe that we have to have all the memory that was associated with the horrific event. We are conditioned to believe that women are the most victimized, or girls. Men and boys are less to report, and even when they do report, most times they're not heard or valued because it's usually someone in the community that holds some type of authority or power. And I'm really talking about religious groups and close family friends. So close family members, close family friends, and religious groups, religious organizations literally can dead a allegation of sexual abuse when it comes to little boys. Sexuality can deaden a little boy talking about sexual abuse, or even a grown man. We watched as Terry Crews talked about being sexually abused and how the public literally wasn't ready to hear that one, that a man could be sexually abused, because we had these double standards, and that's why double standards are unnecessary and they need to be torn down. Yes, men and women are different. It is a fact. We are different. You can look at us and tell we are physically different in certain areas. However, we are all human fucking beings at the end of the day. And when I say that in the sense that I always tell you, I am a spiritual being. Like, I am a consciousness stored in this particular vessel. And I travel vessels. Like, I travel vessels, but this is my home. So, like, literally, I say this with so much respect to us living this human experience. When you are a male or a little boy, you're less likely to be heard, even more than the woman and the girl. So women and girls, like, listen up. Like, they are even more or less heard when they report or tell than we are. And we are very much less heard. We are very much not giving the respect of being heard for sexual assault. And sometimes it's actually from the victims who are silenced and who literally faced sexual abuse and decided and chose to continue this ugly legacy and stain of a thing themselves. One of the things I want to talk about is sexual abuse is very, very prevalent in a lot of households, and it doesn't matter the tax bracket, it doesn't matter what it is a cultural thing that happened, and it happened from the colonizers. It happened by the hands of the colonizers, and it was that gift that keeps on giving. When I tell y'all, I want to get to the root of the issue. Yes, I want to put the accountability on the present day person who has caused these issues. But I'm a type of person, let's get to this root of this so we can make sure it stops happening. And yes, colonization definitely is the root cause of sexual perversion and the way we look at sex. You're taught so many just ugly ways around sex. Like, you're taught as a child that sex is bad, yet you have people touching you. And so that automatically in your brain leaves you feeling stained, because you was taught that this thing was bad, but you have people constantly touching you in your childhood. Even if you went unscathed as a child and wasn't touched in your childhood by other adults or other children, because You got to pay attention to who you're bringing your kids around. Other kids also touch each other, and it's actually normal. It is actually normal for kids to be curious. It is actually normal for kids to be curious about sexual things, the body, all of that stuff. However, there are a lot of kids that are being exposed to things and are being touched, and they touch other children. And you do have to be careful about who you bring your kids around, how their parents is having sex in their house, and all that stuff. So, like, kids touch kids. They will. Like, if you don't teach your kids that, yeah, you can go when the company's not around, like, you go have fun. Like, you go have fun. Some people shame their kids and they grow up thinking that, oh, well, masturbation is evil. You're going to get a sex demon. You might if you invite a sex demon in. Like, you normalize that. Normalize that. But why you can't touch yourself? Like, I don't understand a lot of these rules. Like, a lot of these rules, you can touch yourself, but I mean, you can't touch yourself, but it's okay for you to touch others. You can touch yourself, but you can't touch yourself. That's disgusting. That's wrong. That's shame. That's guilt. That's gonna invite a demon. It can. If you want a demon to play with you, why you playing with you? Like, this is just all what you tapping into. Literally, you can do that, but when you do it with somebody else, and it's just so confusing. Like, it's a lot of these rules that we have to literally look at. They have indoctrinated sex. Sex is a good thing. We were put here to be fruitful and multiply. Now, for our sex, we do have to be responsible with sex. We have to be responsible with sex. But how can we ever get to the point where we're responsible with sex if we're constantly allowing pedophilia to go on, if we're constantly allowing sexual perversion to happen, if we're constantly riddling sex when we teach it to our kids to be this horrible thing that you shouldn't do, and if you do it, it is the ultimate sin, and like all that stuff. And it's like, that's not true. It's not true at all. Start teaching your children healthy sex. Healthy sex. You don't have to show them how to play with themselves. Like, there are some parents who are open and free like that. But, like, they'll get their children, toys and stuff like that. I'm not against that. Like, I'm not against that. That could save them from going out there playing with something else. Like, a real demon in some human vessel, because y'all be having this shit twisted when you are having sex. Like, sex should be taught in the sense of sex is something you do to exchange energy. Sex can be healing. Sex can be destructive. Sex can be, so many different things. Sex can be pleasurable. Purpose behind sex. Teach that. Teach love with sex. Love with sex. Not, oh, if you have sex out of wedlock, you're going to be an abomination and you're going to hell. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're 9 times out of 10 going to go out here and you're going to have sex and you're going to be disappointed. that is what it is. That's what they should tell us. That's what they should tell us when we were little kids. Like, you go out here and your first time, you're going to be disappointed. Like, tell them that. Tell them that. Tell them that's why they should wait. Because but you're not going to catch on fire. Like, you're not going to catch on fire, and it's not the end of your life. Not everybody that go out there who have sex for the first time get a baby or a disease, like, or get a spiritual attachment. Like, it's levels to the shit, and everybody got their own path, and we got to stop trying to scare people into the right way. Give them the knowledge and the tools of these things, these concepts and all that stuff, but stop trying to scare them into the right way. You're trying to scare them straight. And that can work for certain shit, and certain shit it doesn't. And sex is not one of them, because as soon as you tell a person that this stuff is horrifying, you could catch this, or this could happen, or that could happen, and then they go out there and do it, they typically gonna look at it like, well, they was lying to me, and they typically can go out there and make rash decisions because they weren't given the proper tools. So I've gotten off topic, but I told you I do that sometimes. Literally, I wanted to make this video because we do have a warped view of sexuality in our culture. we have a very warped view. It's this purity thing around sex, and the way that our elites and the richest people, like, they're literally human trafficking people. They're literally using religion to use that to touch little kids, to even do it to women. Like, I've heard so many horror stories of how women were literally being, sexually abused because of authority. And men. There is a lot of people who believe that you can use sex to gain someone else's power, and you can. People think about it in this physical way, but it's really in this this psychological, spiritual way. Like, you steal something from someone when you rape or take something from them, when you coerce someone into something. So, like, even a person can literally be mentally consenting, but if you have coerced them into it, if you had any inkling that person kind of seemed uneasy about something, and they were just doing it to please you because you have coerced them and manipulated them already, or they already came to you in that state, you're wrong. You're just as wrong and bad as someone who has, like, taken it from them. And I'm not going to say you're going to receive the same punishment, but I'm just saying, like, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It is wrong to abuse power and authority to get people to do shit that they normally wouldn't do. And yes, people have to be able to, say, no, this is as far as I'm going to go. But we have to normalize that some people have been so broken down and so fucking beat up that they can't always defend themselves. They can't always take up for themselves in that moment. And it takes a fucked up person to prey on the weak. I am not upset at the weak. I am not upset at the person that was at their bottom. They were at their bottom. They were at a point in their life where they couldn't say no. And even if they said no, or thought about saying no, they felt like their no wouldn't be heard. I'm not mad at that person. I am mad at the person who abused their power, knowing that this person wasn't able to advocate for themselves in that moment. Knowing that this person would do whatever they wanted just because of who they were. That is weak. That is not a powerful person. That is a weak ass person, and we have to rewrite the narrative of what we look at as power. If you stealing power from people, like, you're the weak one. You're the weak one. If I see somebody that has been broken, beaten, and bruised, my job is not to make their situation worse. My job is to leave them better than what I found them, not to bring them down even more. Like, what are we doing? So I came here anyway to just state that, like, we live in such a sick society where you literally have victims who have been through so much horrific pain that they don't have their full memories of what happened. They don't have that. They know it happened. They don't have the full memories to do a recall and sit through a court case and say, hey, look, this is what happened, detail from detail. Your story is still valid, sis. Your story is still valid to the men and the boys. Like, your story is still valid, even if you don't have all your memories. I struggled so hard with that one. And my mother helped condition that one. When I told the first time when I was a very little girl, my mother helped condition that if I didn't have all the pieces to the puzzle for my story, that, like, I won't be believed and heard. And because I don't have all the pieces to my puzzles and I'm not being believed and heard, what is the point of telling? What is the point? So I just want to say your story is valid whether you have all the pieces or not. Like, any sexual assault victim knows, like, you feel that shit in your body. You have out-of-body experiences. Like, you literally can go somewhere else while this is happening because that's how horrific it is. You don't want to know. You don't want to remember. Matter of fact, for your brain to recall and remember, it might even crash your system. So, like, it's not meant for you to remember. And you have to make peace with that, and you have to still honor what happened to you. You know what happened to you. And a lot of people won't have this conversation with you because it scares them that other people will be held accountable for what they've been doing. that has been a big bulk of why a lot of sexual assault victims don't tell. The longer you wait, the worse your memory recall is to report. So that's why a lot of times they want you to report freshly right after it happened. However, they'll still not take into consideration that even once you report freshly what happened, trial takes so long to happen. When it's time to do trial, your memory recall is not the same as that night because you are trying to protect yourself from not reliving that experience. To have to recall the memory is literally that person going back to the past and reliving that experience. Who the fuck wants to do that? We handle sexual assault and sexual abuse wrong in society. Those things should be handled swiftly. They should be handled swiftly and in the moment. The longer you wait, the longer it is possible that perp will get off and they'll do it to someone else. They're going to do it to someone else. There is a lot of loopholes and loosey-goosey shit for it. We look at, a lot of people don't even realize what sex trafficking is. If you think about sex trafficking, like sex trafficking been out here since the end of times, and literally sex trafficking is what we used to call prostitution. They just renamed it. It is prostitution, and what it typically looks like is that there is someone else in control of whoever the prostitutes are. So literally we see a culture that has shifted a title and name, and most people don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They just think sex trafficking as this large grand scheme of things. A regular everyday person who is running a back page for, you know, a couple of girls, that's considered sex trafficking. So we've seen this happen in society. We've seen it happen for different ways. I'm gonna tell you, in the Black community back in the day, being a pimp and being a, you know, prostitute or whatever like that, like, it was something that happened in the culture to build wealth. And I never liked it. I never liked it. Even though I understood that there was a means to an end, I never liked it because it takes a level of disrespect for a woman to do her like that. It takes a level of disrespect for a woman to even like treat her a certain way. And what it was meant to do was that these women were already on the street and they were already going to prostitute anyway, but the men would come in and be protectors. They were supposed to get a cut. However, the shit got out of hand, and cause it ain't no way you gonna make more money than me off my pussy. That's not gonna happen. And that's why I was like, I can't really get with that type of culture. However, this was another illegal means and way of creating wealth for a certain person within the community. That was their way that they hustle and won. A lot of these ways that we have in our communities were given to us. And I'm going to make that loud and clear. It was not our way. It was not the way of the ancient times. Slavery has been in our ancient times. It has been done different ways. I think that the most horrific I've ever heard of, it was not the Holocaust, and I don't like to compare, but what we not gonna do moving forward, we not gonna acknowledge other people's struggles and not acknowledge ours. We're not going to acknowledge other people's struggles and not acknowledge ours. Nobody has been treated worse than the Black person. And we're going to make that fucking loud and clear. That does not negate from what happened to Jewish people. And if you go into a Holocaust museum, you can clearly tell that Black people were Jewish too. You can clearly tell. And we need to go ahead and, you know, tell the truth and shame the white devil. And I look at these pictures. I don't look at color. I look at features. Features tell you all the time what you want to see, but we have been so brainwashed to have this race thing, right? It's this race thing. I look at features. I can tell who off features. I can tell who's who. I can tell who's off energy. Fuck the outward appearance is energy to me. But literally we get caught up on these things. So like, yes, what happened to the Jewish people were horrific. And you got to think about how many of them were wiped out and who were they actually. And then you got to think about, even once they were wiped out, why did they dismantle most of the different Jewish sects and groups? They literally dismantled that shit and created the Israelis. We're going to tell the truth and we're going to shame the white devil this morning. We're going to tell the truth and shame the white devil. And I got here because what has happened to black people all across this world is not just the United States. It is all across this world. But however, in the United States, we were so sexually abused. We were so sexually abused. We were sexually abused from our masters, from their hand workers, from the people like they got to manage us. We were sexually abused by them. We were sexually abused by each other. We were forced to sexually abuse each other. We were put in fucking stalls like cattle and left there just so we could mate, so that they could have the super nigga. And now you got the super nigga and you made. You done bred the super nigga and you made. Like, you did this with your dumb ass. I keep telling you, every trap that people set for themselves, set for someone else, it's going to be their demise. It's going to be their demise. You the one bred the super nigga. Our family bloodline and DNA has been riddled with so much sexual perversion. And then we're told that we're hypersexual. We're adultified at a very young age. Like, we go through so much early maturation as children. Like, they don't even look at us as children after a certain age. They don't look at a black girl and a black boy as children when they're about going through puberty. Like, they're about 12. Like, you're no longer a child. I would say 10. By 9 or 10, most times, you're no longer a child in the white man's eyes. You're a monster. For the little boys, they're a monster. They're a threat. For the little girls, you are something to be played with. You are grown. You are not looked at as a child. We're over-sexualized. And we think it's just from our music. Yes, our music has become a problem for those who are glorifying this culture. Those who are going, and I'm going to do a video on our culture because a lot of y'all got this shit twisted. None of this shit was done in vain. And y'all need to stop demonizing the people who have had to make low life decisions to help the greater good in this world. You're going to put some respect on certain people's names that has had to do shit to make sure that other people had a fighting chance. Because y'all got this shit twisted. There is people doing good work out here, and I literally support and applaud them. You're doing good work to save our youth. Yes, we do need to change the trajectory of things. However, you're not going to demonize people who you gave hate to. You're not going to demonize people who you gave a set of problems to. And then you're not going to demonize people who tried to actually do it the right way. And you bombed our communities. You destroyed our communities with drugs. So after you finished bombing us and you was like, okay, these niggas still ain't dying. These niggas still got their sense. These niggas still trying. You literally dumped boatloads of drugs in our community and then had us looking at each other weird like we was the problem. Who the fuck put it here? Who the fuck gave us this only opportunity to make it out the hood? But won't let us get a decent job. Won't let us wear our hair at our job. Won't let us show up as us at our job. Won't let us make a decent living at the jobs you want to give us. But we the demons? I beg to fucking differ. And so I am here that I just want to talk about, like, there is a root issue with this. Yes, your immediate abuser is needs to be held accountable, but like, this is a generational thing passed on. And yes, this shit gotta stop with you. It gotta stop with you. The only way we can stop it with you is you telling your truth, is you teaching your kids to tell their truth, is you showing up and protecting your kids if anything happened to them, because you can't protect them all the time. You can't protect them all the time. You can pray over them. You can hope that nothing happens to them. You literally are not with them while they're in school. I know so many girls that was fucked on by teachers. And I know so many teachers that was fucking on boys. And we gonna normalize that both of it is gross. Because a lot of bitches get off. A lot of bitches it don't even register the same, because y'all got this double standard that boys should be touched at an early age just so they won't be gay. When you literally kind of be doing a reverse and adverse reaction to certain people. Or you literally make that little boy hypersexualized, so when it's time for him to have a wife, he can't keep her because he can't keep his dick in his pants. Because he has something going on where he is filling voids with his sex. He's not healing himself properly because he thinks that sex is going to make everything better. He thinks sex is the answer. Let's normalize little boys getting raped by little girls when they 10 and they 9, or their daddy's buying them prostitutes is fucking sexual abuse. So I'm going to need people to stop speaking on that shit. Kanye came out and talked about incest in his family, and y'all fucking clowned him. Y'all fucking clowned him. He just said some weird shit. And when he come out and say some shit that actually was like, oh my God. Yes, it had a shock factor to it, the way he did it. Yeah, it did. It took me off back. I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't ready to hear this. But like, it took so much strength to even come out and say that. And then you have people in the community like Boosie. I hate that shit. I love Boosie to death, but I hate when he speak on sexual abuse and gay people. Just please hang it up. Don't speak on the shit. Keep your feelings and your thoughts to yourself when it comes to that shit. I don't think that he purposely wants to do that. He has been conditioned to think that what he thinks and feels is right. Like, that shit is wrong. You shouldn't buy prostitutes for your kids. I'm calling this shit out. Don't do that shit going forward. It's 2025. Don't buy your kids no motherfucking prostitutes. I wish a nigga would buy my child a prostitute. I wish a nigga would buy my son a prostitute. He better be fucking 18, and I don't want my child having to learn their sexual experience through a fucking prostitute. If they decide to grow up and they want to buy a prostitute, that'd be on them. But allow your kids to explore sexuality on their own. Teach them yourself what you think is right, but don't be trying to force shit on them. That shit is sexual abuse. That's like buying your daughter a fucking male prostitute. See, when you reverse the roles, you can see how sick it is. That's like getting your daughter fucked before she's of age to be fucking. And then expecting her to have healthy relationships with people in her age group. That shit is sick and twisted. And going forward with people doing that shit, like, you are breaking laws. Fuck this white man law. We're going by God's law, and you breaking God's law. Stop getting these kids fucked and touched early, because you scared they're going to be gay. If your child going to be gay, they're going to be gay. It don't matter what the fuck you do. If your child going to be gay, they're going to be gay. Love them anyway. How about let's normalize that? What the fuck y'all scared of? And I get it. I used to be homophobic too, because I was raised in a fucking household with so much religious dogma. The same motherfuckers that taught us to be homophobic was fucking our men in front of the whole plantation. The same motherfuckers that taught us to be homophobic was fucking our men in front of the whole plantation. So let's normalize that. Them same people that gave our ancestors the Bible were fucking our men in front of the whole plantation. Picking the biggest buck, because that's the fuck they used to look at us as animals, cattle. We didn't have souls. We didn't have anything. We literally couldn't read, and the first thing they allowed us to read was what? The Bible. They literally handed us a slave Bible at that. We couldn't read other literature. Pick up another type of book and see what that shit would have got you. And then we was made fun of for years because we spoke funny when you didn't even allow us a proper education. I speak funny as a bitch. I speak funny as a bitch behind this camera and sometimes on this camera. I speak way funny. And I used to be ashamed of it because my mother used to teach me that I was improper English. My teachers used to teach me that I was improper English. But bitch, I look back on it and why was my English going to be proper in the first place? When literally that was not my native tongue. Literally, you got people over here will pick on people in the comment sections of an online discussion post about saying something wrong, but you know what they meant. You know what they meant, but you'll pick on them because you think that they're not properly educated when you the one don't even know what the fuck you saying. You don't know your words you saying each day. You don't even know your words you saying each day. You don't even know the history behind this language yourself. Like, I I have the worst grammar skills in the fucking world. Like, literally, I take so much. It takes energy for me to fucking make something grammatically sound because I had to go over it multiple times. I'm struggling with dyslexia. I'm struggling with a focus issue because I'm really, like, sped up most of the time when I'm typing. So, like, anybody who know me, like, I can send a text message in, like, 1.5 seconds of you texting me if I'm upset. Like, and when I respond, when I'm upset, like, it takes 1.5 seconds and I'm not editing shit because you get the gist. So literally, I'm one of those people that's really, my brain is really sped up. So I literally have to take the time to decode and some of these words, sometimes they get mixed up. So literally, I had to take energy to do this, but that does not mean that it's not in here. I was a human dictionary as a child and it's still here. Like I switch back and forth. So you got to be careful who you judging. We judge less. And these conversations be going so all over the place. Like, I be wanting the direction to be one way and it just goes somewhere else. But I really just wanted to focus on how we look at sexual abuse, how we look at victims being heard, how we look at parents allowing sexual abuse to happen to their children because of authority figures, because of their own indoctrination and their own sexual abuse they endure. Like, I brought up Boosie, but I watched as Boosie made his movie. I paid to watch that movie. Like, I paid to watch his movie. I fuck with Boosie, but I don't fuck with that rhetoric around the sexual abuse or the homosexuality. I watched his video as his example. Like, that's what he put in his art. He put in his art that when he first seen sex, like, it was that scene in the movie. Like, that's how he maneuvered that shit. So, like, that's traumatizing to most of us. That is so fucking traumatizing. I remember the first time I walked in on my parent having sex. Like, that was traumatizing. It was the most grossest thing in my fucking life. I didn't want to see it. I wanted to unsee it. It frazzled my brain. We don't look at these things as trauma. We're experiencing trauma in real time. We're experiencing trauma and we're calling it normal. We're normalizing trauma. And you're going to have to work through trauma or it'll show up constantly in your adult life. It will make you do things like buy your son a prostitute and think that it's okay to tell the world and that it is okay to shame the next man because he said him and his cousin had discovered porn together and they were attracted to the gay porn, even though they probably were taught to be attracted to the straight porn. Literally, you think it's normal to shame a man that just admitted that he had incest with his cousin as a little kid. Do you know how many people that fucked on their cousins? Their sister, brother, all the family members, the adult family members that fucked on. I have been very clear that I was touched by my father. My biological father touched me inappropriately. I wish the fuck you would shame me. I wish the fuck you would shame me. Bitch. Y'all need to be careful how y'all just be spewing y'all negativity and y'all fucked up opinions on people. Ain't nobody ask you. Ain't nobody ask you. Let's normalize that. Let's normalize, even if that is your thoughts and whatever, and you want to feel like you right about it. Like, ain't nobody ask you. Have it with your group of people. Let's stop speaking on people who coming out about sexual abuse, about fucked up sexual experiences as a child that went unchecked. It took courage for him to do that. He done said some fucked up wrong shit that should have been spoke on. What was the outrage when he was talking about his own goddamn, a nigga that we saw him elevate with, his own brother kids? What was the outrage when he was talking and speaking on kids? Why ain't nobody step up and say, oh, this nigga was wrong there, but you gonna step up and talk about him because he released that he was experiencing incest and fucking with his cousin? And we already knew, like, Amber Rose had exposed him when she got mad with him. So, like, I mean, he's being vulnerable and telling you a piece of him. That's a lot of you niggas can't do. A lot of you niggas are secretly closeted gays. And y'all literally, and I had nothing wrong. I fuck with some gay niggas that'll fuck you up. That'll fuck some of y'all. I know some hood gay niggas that'll fuck some of y'all hood straight niggas up. Y'all keep playing on this homosexuality like niggas ain't trying to go. That's homosexuals. Like, they still men at the end of the day. I know some trans women that'll fuck you up. But you're only going to prey on the ones that you think you can fuck up. But I don't see y'all trying to swing on that trans woman that'll fuck you up. That'll have your ass packed away in a suitcase. Stop preying on weak people because you think they weak and you see them in a vulnerable state and you just keep preying on them. That shit shows your character. That shows who you are. And when I said this video, like I say what I say. And I mean what I say. It's 2025. Y'all keep going on these white devil laws. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. We trying to clean up this shit. We trying to clean up the evil that was given to us. We trying to use the evil that was given for us for the betterment of the people. Some of y'all still practicing old ways and old laws, and the shit is like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Victims are to be believed until they are proven that they are lying. I want to speak on another thing that I have been silent about. I want to speak on the Tory Lanez case. I watched as that shit unfolded, and I watched as that shit happened. I was wondering in my head as a black woman, how can no one see the fucking circus that was going on around that case? I don't give a fuck who don't like me. I don't give a fuck who unfollows me, who stopped speaking to me over this case. One thing I did know is that literally it appeared more that Kelsey did it than fucking Tory did it. But Kelsey had immunity. Meg's involvement in it, I really don't know. I told y'all, I listened to that case and I watched that case, but I'm going to tell you this, like, I do know that they said Meg used to get blackout drunk. I'm not giving her a way out. You still got to take accountability for your shit. I done been raped blackout drunk and I had to take accountability to that bitch. Don't let that happen again. So she still, even if she did not have the memory to recall what happened that night, literally, at some point, she probably had access to information to know Tory didn't shoot her. It was clear as day Tory didn't shoot her. From the calls from the neighbors, from just so much evidence. And the gunshot, I remember HBO released, this was after he was convicted. Like, I have been watching Forensic Files. I actually had forensic training a little bit as a little girl when I was doing police program at my school. I've had police and military training, literally interrogation, all that shit. Like, we have went through so many levels of all of this shit. I watch cold cases. I watch all that. So I'm literally engulfed in that shit. So I pay attention. I will take race, gender, all that shit, bias out of it. And I listen to what's happening. A lot of people want justice in these courtrooms, but you will use favor of someone over facts. And that got to end. That's got to end. This celebrity culture, it has to end. Like, you literally pick somebody who you favor over facts. It looked clear as day that he didn't do that shit. But you heard him apologize over the phone. But you still don't know what he apologized for. You never asked about what was he apologizing. Y'all don't do that when y'all look at these cases. That's why public opinion need to be taken out of fucking court cases. This is not public opinion. If you pick actual jurors without bias, if you picked actual jurors and they're peers, that should be the only public opinion that's in the courtroom. Everything else, like, you should be observing, but your opinion don't matter shit because we're basing shit on facts. And our justice system was set up to be, you have to have, like, no doubt. Like, you have to have it was riddled in doubt. It was riddled in circumstantial evidence. A lot of y'all don't even know what that means, but y'all watch the court case and be like, oh, well, da-da-da-da-da. Then now some of y'all realize y'all wrong and still blaming this man. Like, well, he should have told. He was protecting black women. He was doing exactly what y'all asked him to do. Protect black women. I have woken up and I'm sick of some of you black women. I'm sick of some of you black women. You bitches make it hard for us black women who are literally honest and truthful. You bitches are making it hard for us. And I'm sick of y'all. Like, I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about nobody's social status. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. You eat shit and bleed just the way I do. I don't give a fuck about no fans. I don't give a fuck about no followers. God didn't put me here for that shit. God put me here to talk about what's right and what's wrong. And it's a thin line in between it. At that. But these laws y'all following is wrong. We're not going to sit here and be biased. We're not going to sit here and be biased. And yes, Tory trolled the fuck out of Meg after that situation happened. But how the fuck would you feel? How the fuck would you feel knowing you know you didn't shoot somebody? Knowing that you were there. Knowing that you were there. But how would you feel if you knew you didn't shoot nobody and they was going with that shit? Bitch, she lucky she got that. Like, that's all you was gonna get was trolled. That's all you was gonna get was trolled. We hate him because he trolled the fuck out of her. If it was me, I would have been in the goddamn bathroom doing some spells. And you call me a demon worshiper, all that shit. No, I'm going back to ancient times. I'm going back to what worked with my ancestors. A lot of y'all think y'all out here doing shit and y'all getting away with it. Y'all not. We're going to have to look at our justice system, and we're going to have to look at how things are being handled, and we're going to have to change it, because justice need to be fair. That shit shouldn't be based off on how much you like somebody. It should be based on, did they do it or not? Were they guilty or not? You can hate them for some other shit, and they still could be innocent on what the fuck we talking about. Let's normalize that. And like I said, I have no fame. I have no fame or no fortune in this 3D physical realm. And maybe I do, and you just not aware of it. And maybe I do, and you just not aware of it. I'm me at the end of the day. And I'm going to show up as me. I'm going to show up as who I am and how I am. And I'm for fairness. I'm for the truth. And I try to tell my truth before I even try to call people out on their own shit. I'll allow others to call me out on my own shit when it is something that is outside of my own experience. Like, if it is something outside of my own experience, you can call me out on my shit. But when it is something I'm speaking on from my experience, say less. Say less. But we definitely have to look at abuse. Abuse, period, in our society is done so ugly. The abuse literally attacks the abuser. I mean, the justice system attacks it protects the abuser. The justice system doesn't protect the victims. The justice system protects the abuser. The justice system is based off favor. It's literally based off favor. They both had money, so this was based off favor. Black man, black woman. Black man, black woman. Oh, we fear the black man, so we're going to lock his ass up. And we're going to allow the public to make us feel like we did the right thing. So, I've even heard people say, well, he didn't get locked up on those charges. Yes, he did. That let me know, like, you didn't follow this case. Yes, the fuck he did. He got locked up for assault. He did. And he also did get locked up for being in, using a gun and being in the vicinity with a gun. Who gun was it, y'all? Do y'all even know who gun it was? Like, look at this case and these facts. Listen to the story that was being told. Y'all don't listen to the facts and piece together the information to see what fits and what doesn't. And even still, when you do that, that does not mean that that's how that happened. I've seen some freaky shit happen in a situation that it wouldn't be believed if it was put in a courtroom. However, with this case, it was clear cut and dry. It was clear cut and dry. It was just that the real person had the immunity. Somebody had to go down for it, and that's not how it should be. If you gave the real shooter the immunity, then that's your fault. Free that man. And then pay him for almost being killed while he was in prison. Pay him for wrongly convicting him and all the fucking trauma and danger you put him in while he was in that system. I started this out on sexual abuse, but I mean, abuse is abuse too. Like, you got levels to this shit, but I guess abuse is just coming up for me. Like, the way our justice system, the way our society is set up, like, it protects the abusers. It perpetuates that abuse is fine. And then when the victim attacks, the victim is fucking crazy. The victim is wrong. The victim is a crash out. No, the fuck the victim ain't. The victim is doing what they're supposed to be doing. The victim is lashing out because you are thinking that I'm going to let somebody whoop on me. I'm going to let somebody beat on me. I'm going to let somebody talk shit about me and I'm not going to do nothing about it. Y'all got to cut this shit out. Y'all got to cut this shit out. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of it. We're about fairness. As much as we can be, as much as possible. There's nothing to ever be 100%. Nothing to ever be 100%, but it can be way better than this. It could be way better than this shit. Believe victims. Believe victims. And yes, other victims out here make it harder for people. We seeing the shit that happened with Jay-Z. We seeing that shit. Yeah, other victims make it people like harder to believe and all that shit. Like, yeah. Let's normalize not speaking on some shit before we got all the facts too. Let's normalize that. Let's normalize it. I'm not opening my mouth about what Diddy did at the Diddy parties because I wasn't there and I'm not following the case anymore. Like, I'm tired. They are exhausting me. Like, they're exhausting me. I'm exhausted. However, I'm gonna say this: Diddy definitely used his power to coerce other people, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like he didn't. Diddy beat the fuck out of Cassie. Excuse me. When the story first released about her, I already knew what time it was. I already knew what time it was. I'm a hard bitch. And I was definitely in a situation where there was power at play and it wasn't even money. There was this power struggle going on between me and my partner, and literally at some moments he could coerce me to do some shit that I didn't want to do just because I loved and cared about him. It wasn't even about the money. But just imagine having a whole bunch of poor people that need opportunities and want to have money, to have opportunities, to make it out alive, to think that they're making it out alive, and they're causing more fucking hell and trauma for themselves. But that's, and that's a lesson they probably learned. But imagine that. So I believe that happened. We're not going to pretend that monsters ain't monsters. That's not what I'm saying. But what we going to do is let's normalize us not speaking on shit. Like, I can't speak on the rest of the Diddy case because I stopped. I tapped out. I can't do it. But do I think Diddy did it? I think Diddy did it. I think Diddy did it. However, that doesn't take away. We got to normalize that too. It doesn't take away. Cosby did it. Cosby did it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck whether y'all like me or not. Cosby did it. Cosby did it. He literally had, way before the Cosby shit came out. What pissed me off is that you waited till this man was 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out. That's what pissed me off. But he did it. Like, and I don't know if he did it to all of them, but I know he did do some shit, because I remember years before this ever came out, like, me and my sister that passed away, we used to talk about shit like this, and like she let me, we was talking about some shit and she brought up like his dissertation, and I looked it up, like, cause this shit is all like public information. Like, she brought up that like he used to use Spanish fly on bitches, and he used to even make jokes on TV about it. And so a lot of times we be mad at these motherfuckers that did it. They did it. They were doing it. Guess who knew they were doing it though? This government. These people in charge. They wait right good till you don't play ball no more and they railroad your ass. They knew you was doing it. You knew you was doing it. You thought you was getting away with it until they feel like you not gonna do this, nigga. Oh, nigga, you not gonna dance. And nigga, you gonna dance. Nigga, you gonna dance behind bars. And so they do that. R. Kelly, they knew he was doing it. We knew he was doing it. We knew. All of us knew. Niggas made jokes out of it. Riley even said if she didn't want to be peed on, she should have moved out of the way. And we all laughed. When in all actuality, that is a little fucking girl. That is a little fucking girl. Even in that moment, if she wanted to get peed on by R. Kelly, I wanted to get peed on by R. Kelly. Like, he's him. But if you would have changed R. Kelly into a regular little boy, which she probably would have wanted to get peed on, probably not. And if she did, that's her thing. Still, it shouldn't be happening with a fucking grown-ass man. It shouldn't be happening with a grown-ass man. That shit robs souls. That shit steal pieces of you. And parents are going to have to start stepping up and protecting their children. We have to, as parents also, this is one of the things I learned a couple of days ago. The way we react to it. I scared the shit out of my child. I probably scared the shit out of some of y'all when I was doing the video. I can't control that I scared the shit out of you or my child. However, what I was able to do was reflect back on it and say, hey, look, that might have traumatized her. That might have imprinted something on her that, like, she don't want to tell because of how I respond. Like, she thought I was going to physically, she know me. She thought I was going to physically fight. So she was scared and she just wanted to leave. But no, you're going to have to be a parent and you're going to have to actually step up. I wasn't taught how to protect my child. But thank God I had this experience to see that I can protect myself and my child. Thank God I had this experience to see that God walks with me when I'm in these situations. No matter who sends the attack, no matter who does what, God's with me in this situation, because if I had it my way, I would have probably done something to that man. But he actually, he made my antennas go off because he literally said I could hit him. And I'm just like, oh, so you want me to crash out? You want me to crash out so they could take my child? You want me to crash out so they could take my child? And then immediately after, her ain't shit daddy gonna reach out with all this bullshit. Yeah. Y'all can think all y'all want to. People ain't sending y'all motherfucking attacks. Y'all can think shit be happening for coincidences and all that shit. It ain't rainbows and unicorns out here when you get to a certain level of awareness and you playing on certain levels and all that shit. You really got people out here who you think wouldn't do some shit like that, but they would. You got people out here working with practitioners to do shit to you. You got people who are already tapped in on their own and they do shit on their own to do shit to you. You got people who literally are thinking shit and it is manifesting for you. And they just stupid. They just not even aware of their power yet, but they just so negative and in their head thinking fucked up shit about everybody because they miserable that's an attack. They sending attacks. That's your brain waves is frequencies. And I know I'm opened up to a certain point that some people aren't there yet. But like, if you are there yet, then you know. He let me know he was responsible for that attack. Like, he let me know he been stalking my page and hers. Like, he let me know. He even told her when he reached out because he saw a video that her mother he told her that. I saw a video that your mom posted, so I wanted to make sure he was okay. What the fuck? First of all, I blocked you on everything, but I do have public pages. So like literally you don't have to, be my friend to see me. It's just I don't want to see your ass. But why is that the reason you decided to hit your daughter up all of a sudden? Then all of a sudden you want her to come to your house, and because she tells you she don't want to come to your house, we got all this foolishness and chaos going on around us. And he's been doing it throughout my life with having her. Like, ever since I left him, he's been doing shit. So, if you know, you know. A lot of people ain't tapped into what I'm tapped into, and I've had to realize that, like, yep, I'm gonna sound crazy to some. I'm gonna sound crazy to the masses, period. I'm gonna sound crazy to the masses, period. And but I'm gonna walk in my truth anyway. It is important that we protect our children. It is important that we protect ourselves. It is important as a community we come together. I watched in the store as people looked over and watched as this shit was happening, and literally just watched. Just watch. This could be your child. This could be your child. And they don't watch out of, I want to help you. They don't watch and come over and hug and try to embrace you. They watch because they're nosy. They watch because they want to know what's going on. They don't watch out of solution. They don't watch out of community. They watch because they're brain fried and all they want to do is be nosy. We need community again. We need fellowship again. We need all those things again. We need those things. We need to protect each other. Black men need to protect black women, and black women need to protect black men. But we first need to protect and heal ourselves on an individual level, or we're going to keep showing up fucked up to each other. We need to take authority out of titles. If you want to have a title where you are working for the people, you don't need authority. You don't need authority. What you need is commonality. How can you help the people if you're over the people? You're seeing over the people. You're not with the people. How can you help the people if you are not with the people? We need to take titles away. Not titles, but we need to take the authority and the titles away. We need to take the authorities and the title away. Like, even when I was teaching in a classroom, even when I was in college, even when I was doing teaching work in college, like, because literally with the program I work with, we used to help facilitate learning. And so literally while I was having these roles and these titles, I never tried to have authority over not even my elementary kids. Like, I didn't want authority over them. I wanted them to be able to blossom into who they were. I wanted my college students to be able to feel comfortable being who they were, because I know they were about to go into a sick society that was literally going to try to rob them of who they were. That was literally going to try to make them feel bad for who they were. Take the authority out of these titles, and a lot of times you'll see just how wicked and ugly people truly are. But they hide behind these titles, they hide behind the cloth, they hide behind all these different things. They hide behind, mother, father, sister, brother, cousin. Like, people who are living in their truth and are telling these deep, dark secrets, I commend you and I applaud you. It is hard as fuck. I was a private person. I did not talk about my business. People ain't know the fuck my business. Like, people ain't know who the fuck, what the fuck. They just knew what the fuck I wanted them to know. People ain't know shit. And if they did know something, you knew it from the lens of Dante's mouth. You didn't know it from my mouth. You didn't know it from my mouth. Dante was very manipulative. He was very manipulative to get what he wanted when he was in one of them situations where he wanted what he wanted. So even if you heard some shit from him, you probably heard it wrong. Because the only reason he was telling you, because he was a solid ass nigga. So the only reason he probably was sharing some shit in our household was because he wanted to get something out of you. So even if you got a glimpse or a resonant, a little piece of it from somebody else, you still never knew what was going on. Even by me telling these stories, you still don't really know the whole story. You know the trauma. I haven't began to talk to you about who the fuck I really am. I've talked to you about my trauma. And it takes a weak person to hear somebody else disclose their trauma. And it's not just me. It is any of us. It takes a weak person to hear anybody talk about their trauma and you judge them on it. You judge them on it. Y'all gonna have to be careful what the fuck y'all be saying about people who are sharing trauma out loud. You can't sit here and say, oh, well, you never know what a person is going through, but then when a person tell you what the fuck they're going through, you judge them. You make fun of them. And I know we like to joke in the Black community. I'm not talking about you joking on some shit and it's lighthearted, you doing it, and, it's just some shit you doing. Like, I'm talking about you being malice in your shit. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about being malice. Because I do know that's a coping skill of mine, too. I joke and I laugh. I laugh at night all long. I laugh all night long about shit. Like, I'm just goofy. But I don't have malice in it, and I don't have malintent. Sometimes I laugh to stop from crying. But some of y'all got malice. And some of y'all make fun of people out of malice. Some of y'all get on behind this keyboard and y'all say what the fuck y'all feel, thinking y'all cute, thinking y'all better than somebody else. But you're not. Like, you're showing your character. And you're projecting to us that you got an unhealed version of you who feels irritated because you're not dealing with your own shit. And you don't want us to deal with our shit because it's ruffling your shit. It's ruffling your feathers of the shit you have failed to deal with. But we're being called to deal with our shit publicly, so people who still have a fighting chance of saving their souls can literally do so. We're being called publicly to do this. We would much rather heal privately. A lot of us. This shit is painful when you first start to come out and start telling your truth. You get family pushback. I have no support family wise, but a few. It's very few. And the number one person supporting me be in here trying to drag my ass back to hell. And that's why I grew up confused and picking these people in my life. So when people be like, you choose these people, bitch, I done already took accountability for me choosing these people. My issue in life wasn't that I didn't know how to take accountability. If you can see in these stories, I take accountability. My problem in life was that I wasn't allowing these motherfuckers to take accountability. That's the difference between me and most people. Most people live their lives where they push and blame everybody else for their problems. However, my problem wasn't that I wasn't taking accountability. My problem was I was taking accountability for me and that person. The problem was I needed to finally let them people live in their truth. I needed to push return the sender back onto them. That's your shit. That's your baggage. That's not mine. You did that. Yeah, I chose my daughter's father. Yeah, I chose Dante. I'm fully fucking aware of it. Dante, I really, I doubled down on chose. And I don't regret it. I love that nigga. That's my nigga for life. It is tatted. That is my nigga for life. That is like my best friend. I don't give a fuck about the mistakes he made and all that shit. That was my nigga. That's why we were able to stay together for so long. We cared about each other. There was real love there. And yes, it was toxic as fuck. But we both were taught love wrong. And we were trying to figure it out. So yes, I chose him. But I didn't choose his decisions. The fuck? I didn't choose his decisions. He chose his decisions. And he would have to deal with that and pay for that. And by me staying there, I had to pay for it too. You know, I caught many strays. And still stay solid. Some of y'all are literally living y'all lives and won't stay solid. Some of y'all living y'all lives and taking accountability, but you're bitter as fuck. And so you mad at everybody else. Just because you take accountability, if you haven't made acceptance with what has happened to you, you're going to be bitter. You're going to be looking at everybody in disgust. You're going to be looking at everybody, why is they so stupid and why is they doing that? Like, bitch, we all just living life. I say stupid all the time, and I say it in the most lighthearted way. Like, I just be like, you know, that's stupid. Like, but I never want anybody to ever think that I really feel that way. Like, I never wanted to be this hard situation. Like, I'm looking down at you. Like, no, never. I done been through too much shit in this life to look down on anybody. Matter of fact, I feel like if I can make it out of what the fuck I made it out of, anybody can make it out. Like, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Like, we gotta stop all this shit. Like, this video has turned into something completely a mixing melting pot of stuff. But like, everybody can do it. My daughter's father, I chose him. I actively stood on business when I made the decision to have my child. I didn't make the decision to have my child with him helping me. But you know one thing I didn't sign up for was him to try to make me raise a child by myself, plus make my life a miserable hell. Pick a struggle. Which one you want me to have? You want me to be a single mother and struggle? Oh no, this nigga wanted me to be a single mother and struggle because I left him. You a bitter bitch. You mad because I left you. This ain't been about your daughter. This been about your ego, which is so fragile and retarded. I'm not going to call him retarded because I really think he's mentally retarded. And so I'm not going to call him retarded. And I said I wasn't going to do that to people. And so literally, I'm only going to call those that, you know, I'm joking with that word. But him, I'm going to spare him of it because I really do think he is. He has to be. Because literally, a bitch never put you on child support. A bitch never hassled or haggled you for shit. And still in yachts, you keep showing up trying to play with me and my kid. This is bigger than a bitch crashing out and trying to, you know, oh me, oh my. No, bitch, I've been doing this by myself. I have never begged not one motherfucking person on this earth to take care of mine. Never. There's plenty of people in my life that can vouch for this. Anybody I ever called and asked for some help, it was a loan and I'm going to pay you back. I don't even know how to ask for help until it's like the final countdown. I don't have no other options. I didn't have a family of support. I had a family of fucking anchors. And I still, this is what my tattoo. My tattoo is an anchor and an infinity sign. And you can't see it all the way. And I can't even twist it and turn it. But you can't see it all the way. But it is an infinity symbol. And it says, I refuse to sink. With an anchor there. And the two people who literally anchor my ass down the most is the ones that I care about the most. And that's my mother and my daughter. But all my other family members were anchors as well. The ones who would attach themselves to me and want me to do shit and be in their lives, and they would do shit for me out of, they wanted to get something back out of it. Like, yeah, the ones that was manipulative. My family was anchors. Nobody ever did shit out of the kindness of their heart besides my mother. And when she did it out of the kindness of her heart, she did it from a place of what she felt like she lacked. So still, it was some type of manipulation laced in there. I didn't have a support system. I had strangers. And it was inconsistent. So I never complained about, oh, this nigga ain't taking care of his tired. No, when I signed up to have this kid, I literally signed up to have her based on what I was going to do. And he would literally try to irritate my soul. He would literally try to irritate my soul. He's been doing spell work. He's been doing deaf shit. He's been doing a lot of shit, and not just him. Not just him. So it's literally been... It's been a battle over this bitch. Don't tell me how to feel. Don't tell me none of that shit. I'm entitled to my feelings and I transmute my energy. So like even when I feel this way, I be in this bitch creating shit. I be in here creating shit. I be in here using my palms, my voice. I'm sitting here using my hands. I craft. I sit and do Reiki on myself. I sit and I meditate. I am transmuting my anger. I sit there and do videos while I'm going to cuss and fuss and spit's going to fly and I'm going to transmute my energy. Just because you're been conditioned to not express yourself and talk about your hurt feelings, don't try to make other people feel that way. Because we're going to talk about ours. Because we want to heal. We want to feel better. And I did. It took me a couple of days. And I started to feel better. Because I wasn't holding it in. And being numb is not the answer. So a lot of you people practicing numbing that shit out. Like, nope, you got to feel your feelings. You got to feel your feelings or you're going to become bitter. You're going to swallow the poison that society gives you. And you're going to become bitter. So feel your feelings and stop judging other people because they're feeling theirs. Stop judging other people because they're living in their truth. The damage is done. They might as well live in their truth. Hiding behind lies, pretending that things didn't happen, literally will have you in a living hellscape. It'll have you in repeated cycles over and over again. That's why I was choosing my baby daddy. That's why I was choosing Dante. That's why I did make these dumbass decisions sometimes. Because I was taught from childhood that abuse was okay. Some of y'all can't find in your childhood where you was taught that abuse was okay. So you literally are mad at yourselves. You're going to have to forgive yourself. Because some of y'all didn't come up in extreme abuse, but maybe that shit was in your family lineage and you were sent to break it. Maybe you have to look at it from that angle. That, oh, maybe no, I didn't get fucked on as a little child. And maybe no, I didn't get beat on. Maybe no, I didn't get scalped. Like, maybe no, those things didn't happen to me. But maybe they happened to someone in my lineage and they wanted me to be here and break it for the family once and for all. And they actually want me to forgive myself and heal. They actually do want me to be able to say, like, that shit was wrong. Because we'll look at ourselves and we can find out everything we did wrong. This is good people. You usually don't have a problem with finding out what you did wrong. Like, you usually take accountability that you did some shit wrong. Because life has conditioned you to literally look at yourself. However, it's hard for you to look at other people doing wrong because you excuse their abuse. Let's normalize that it takes two to tango. And that you got a part you play in it and they got a part they play in it. And it is levels to this healing shit. And you're going to allow people to heal. You're going to allow people to show you what fucking healing look like, or you're going to get left behind, because a lot of y'all are refusing to heal. You're refusing to heal. You'll get to a certain point and you'll get comfortable and thinking you're healed, but healing is constant. Healing is constant. Yes, you can get over healing something else and you're, thing, like you can heal this portion of you, but then healing is constant. Something else is going to happen. Even if it doesn't happen as bad as what used to be happening, you're going to still have to pivot. You're going to still have to maneuver. You're going to still have to feel your feelings, and you're going to still have to process shit. Healing is a cycle. Healing is a process. Forgiveness is a process. Grieving is a process. All these things are a process. Let people figure out their process. Shit. Anyway, I've been going on rants lately because I'm not as angry as I was at first from when that situation happened, but I am angry because I feel like you could sit up here and you could try to heal, you could try to tell. We want people to tell, but when people start telling, like, you'll literally have these evil motherfuckers come out the woodwork. You didn't even know where the fuck they popped up at. You didn't even know they was watching. Like, literally come out the woodwork and distribute this ugly ass behavior. This ugly ass behavior to your healing. And you know why? It's less about you and it's more about them. They haven't been able to cope with that part of themselves. That's what I'm starting to notice. Like, they haven't been able to cope with them part of themselves that you're showing that you're coping with. So it ruffles their feathers. You living in your truth ruffle their feathers. Which means they have to heal. They have to heal. People ruffle my feathers. I get triggered all the time. And I have to sit with that shit and realize I have to heal. It is less about them and it is more about me. However, there are situations where I'm going to pay your ass back. Because some things are more than just a trigger. Some things is a bullet is re-entering a wound. And I'll be damned. I'll be down. I'll be down. A trigger is when my gun go off. When your gun go off, that is abuse. That is abuse. That is abuse. And when I say my gun go off, it is an internal thing where I literally get activated. I don't mean that I'm shooting a bullet at somebody else. So let's make that clear. Because if I choose to abuse somebody else, I need to be held accountable. I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, but if I choose to abuse somebody who is innocent and didn't deserve it, I need to be held accountable. If I misspeak, if I misunderstand, I need to be held accountable. The same shit I want everybody else to do, I have to be accountable for it. And I don't know, I'm going to just I'm going to stop talking about this situation because it just went somewhere else. And I just said, like, I have to post these videos because it is meant to go wherever it's going to go. I've learned that I can't control shit. A lot of these messages are channeled. A lot of these messages, some parts of it is mine and some parts of it is a message for somebody else. So literally, I'm going to end this one here.